I would prefer it that we, as Gen Z, would just stop pretending that we have figured out life at 23 or 24 or 20 something. Because it's so unrealistic that we have figured anything out as a whole in our 20s. Not that you can't learn anything in your 20s, you obviously do, but I'm especially talking about these optimization videos, or you should reach your goals in 20 days, or don't be lazy, do this to be ahead of 91% of blah blah, do this in order to become perfect. And it annoys me because I've consumed so many videos of them, and because of that I had a long time this incredible big urge to achieve everything I want now without enjoying any process. And because of social media, we want everything in an instant. And these kind of videos of maxing everything is just so hurtful. I didn't even realize because it felt so positive. But instead of being positive, it just such a big pressure on this whole generation. And because people in older generations just tell us constantly that we are lazy and we all want to be an influencer because the opportunity is there. And of course, if they were younger, if the possibility was there as they were younger, they would have done the same. But what I'm trying to get at is this whole, the influencer life or the life of people who are online or posting online is so much better than mine, and this is so perfect, and they do everything I can't do or I'm not doing. This isn't new. We've experienced that for the longest time. When did Instagram occur? 2013, I guess. 2013. I'm not sure. But so we, or the older Gen Z, is growing up with this, or grew up with this whole influencer thing, and people experience so much cooler things, like the hype house back then, where people the same age as we or even younger experienced the high life of celebrities, which was so far away from all of us, or most of us. And this isn't new, and we know that social media isn't real, but because we consume so much social media, it kind of still feels like this. We know this rationally, we know that this isn't the real life, and that's why I like to listen to people like Madeline Argy, because that's a topic I will come back to later, but because she's so real, and she talks about very introspective thoughts, but I will come to that back later because this is a topic for later. And these videos of blah 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 maxing, lives maxing, reads maxing, everything maxing, optimate what? You have to optimize this and that. This feels toxic, and I didn't realize till a few days ago. Because it feels so good. But if I don't know if it's not, it's my algorithm who tells me this is what you want to watch. But I'm not doing that anyway. I'm not talking about Florence Given, for example, who talks about positive things and another perspective on life, how you can see things and whatever. I'm not talking about these kind of videos, because this is more spiritual and more like feelings and how you perceive the world, and not how you can optimize anything. And this optimizing content feels like I am wasting my time because I'm not optimizing everything, because I don't have the capacity to optimize everything. I have so many responsibilities. So when do I have the time to optimize myself, enjoy the journey, be a 26-year-old girl who's just experiencing life for the first time? Have fun, because we are unlearning having fun, because everything is so serious. And this annoys me especially because all the generations tell us that we are so unserious and we don't take life serious, we don't want to work. And I think the pressure on our generation is a whole different one than it was for millennials or everything older than that. Not that they haven't experienced pressure, another pressure. Our pressure is different because it's a constant, we are constantly experiencing this because we are on our phones the whole time. Because all the generations set this system up, these algorithms that we are addicted to. And because we want to optimize ourselves, because if someone is telling you, you have to do this to reach your dreams in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, all it takes is one video, all it takes is this, all this, it's just this simple step, which this is bullshit. This is just bullshit. And it annoys me so much because, of course, you can be someone like Ellie Ellis. I don't even know if this is a topic on YouTube yet, but of course you can be a person, and of course you can go viral. Of course one video of you can go viral and change your whole life overnight. And I'm not talking about don't reach your dreams or don't take action to achieve your dreams. But reach your dreams wasn't even right, no matter. But now I'm out of my flow. What annoys me is that we are constantly in touch with people who are telling us we are the people. Everyone is telling each other, do this, do that, to become perfect. Not in this phrasing, but you know what I mean. And it's not that I haven't tried this, whether it's telling other people or participating in doing things that have been told. Because I think while focusing, we're losing focus, if that makes sense. Because we are not focusing on the journey. We want the solution or the end result in an instant, as I said earlier. And what annoys me especially out of this whole topic is that we aren't experiencing social media anymore, but I think it's turning a little bit back to it. Social media was about, first it was showing off, but then it was about connecting, especially 2020, while the COVID virus spread. We talked about it. We connected to each other. This was all social. And now it's about, I know this about that, and you have to know this, and this is the 5-step guide. And most of the times, videos like this are produced from people like me. People who know certain things, but we don't know everything, but we act like we do. And because I've made videos like this, I know, or I'm very sure that many people who make videos on how to achieve your dreams, blah, 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 are people that aren't feeling this way. And I'm not talking about, I've seen some videos of people who talked about fun maxing, which I like, by the way, but I don't like the maxing of it, but how to go back to this analog life and have a little bit of fun in your life again. And I find it's so ironic that this whole phone thing, addicted to social media, this funny forms, turned into something so serious. And I wish that social media would turn back into people who are talking about their thoughts and feelings, processes they are going through, like Emma Chamberlain did, or Madeline Argy is doing. Own experiences. I'm going through this. I think that this video, what I'm doing right now, I think this, I feel this. This hasn't to be right, just because I feel like it. And I think if we would just talk more about what we feel and think without scripting it, I have a few bullet points or the chapters I want to talk about. And it's 5 sentences. These are 5 sentences for this whole video. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I think we lost the plot. Because we aren't connected to it. I have 2 friends, or 3, which are 2 of them are long distance and I'm not seeing them at all. The one friend I saw the last time, May 2025. And the other one I saw this year in January. And then I have one friend here, which I don't see very often because they are preoccupied. So, sorry, I know that they prefer they pronouns, but in German, they is a little bit hard. That's why I call her she, and she's fine with it. But in English, you can say they. That's why I'm so confused right now. Doesn't matter. They won't. I hate this because sometimes it's hard to be doing everything so other people feel good, but I want other people to feel good and safe around me. So I hope you know what I mean. Because I'm not perfect, and English is my second language, so it's even harder for me to, you know what I mean. This isn't the topic, but I wanted to talk about it real quick. So that's the thing where I come back to Madeline Argy. I hope she's pronounced Argy because I'm not sure. Someone said Argy and some people say Argy because I'm not sure. I'm sorry. If you are a fan of her and you know how she's pronounced, you can tell me, please. Or if you Madeline, hello. Madeline I'm so scared that this isn't her real name. Maybe she's watching this video. She's probably not. I like her videos because the way she makes her podcast. I prefer podcasts because it feels like listening to someone, and especially because her thought patterns or her thought pattern or the way she talks and thinks is pretty similar to me. Like, I always understand how she gets from this point to that point to this point to that point. Because I think the same. Not I think the same, but in the same way. And that's not a topic, but I love the way she is into perspective. She talks about things her mind is preoccupied with and how personal and vulnerable her videos are. And I like this because this is what I want social media to be. Listen to people who talk about their struggles they are going through or have experienced in their life and still struggle to this day. Because I have had a sister with borderline personality disorder, and I know this happened as I turned 5. She developed it, or was diagnosed with, and after that, it went downhill, everything. And as I was 17, she died. And to this day, it's almost 10 years ago. It was almost 10 years ago. And I know that I struggle to this day with certain behavior, certain patterns, attachment issues, and all of these things you develop because of things like this. And I would love if people would talk about these things more often like Madeline does. Because you feel more like some people understand what you're going through. Or you hear people are not perfect because we aren't perfect. And people haven't figured anything out. And if someone is sitting there with, I don't know how old she is, 24, 25, I'm not sure. She's younger than me, isn't she? Isn't she? I don't know why I turned the British accent. But it is just so reassuring that someone feels the same way I do. And because it isn't even about... Social media is polished, again. And what annoys me about this part is that people pretend to be vulnerable, authentic. I hate the word authentic. You have to be authentic. I am. But people aren't talking about real insecurities or trauma or whatever they are going through, because real vulnerability is so harmful. Because if I share things like my sister had borderline personality disorder and I suffer from trauma to this day and I suffer from things I do to this day, because of that, people can use this against me. And not everyone is open to do that. But because I was bullied so much, and bullied because of my sister, because some things she did or whatever, I know that there is nothing people can do to really, really harm me, because people who want to harm other people are harmed themselves and just pretend that they are not. Because why would you want to hurt someone if you are not hurt yourself? But what I wanted to say is that I want people to talk again. And I think that's why podcasts rise, because we really want to listen to people. But then this whole Mel Robbins, Jay Shetty thing popularized, where they interviewed people who can tell you how to turn your life upside down, how to become perfect. And it's not that I don't want to listen to this at all anymore. It's more about the way people in their 20s pretend to know everything, because we don't. And I think it's more helpful to talk about your struggles. What are you going through and what you have learned? Not that you... I think it's the structure as well. The structure is 5 tips to 5 things, blah, blah. Or how to become this, how to become that, how to achieve this. I think this is more the structure and how people talk about this, and not like I was working in a 9-to-5, but I felt like this isn't for me, so I quit my job and I was so unsure. It's about the feelings, the vulnerability, how you really felt in detail. How was the phase before everything turned into the good part, or the goal you want to achieve, or you have achieved, or you pretend to have achieved? Because it's this whole perfect bubble again in social media, where we tell, oh, I have this and I overcome this and I'm perfect, and not in a way of they act like they are better, or we act. It's a little bit hard to talk about this right now, but it's not about that, but it's about the structure of pretending you are, or you have overcome something you haven't. Because this feeling of, even if you reached some of your goals, or you have done something you want to do for a long time. For me, it's like on my vision board. Since 2014, and since this whole YouTube thing started, I wanted to make a YouTube channel. And this is my fourth, I'm not sure, the 4th, I think. And yes, I did it. And I have it's not this visibility wound or this thing of I don't want to be perceived. Many people talk about. It's more of, why am I on here? What is my mission? But is this calling inside of me? But I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what my mission is. I don't know why I am doing this. But I know that this calls me back again and again. And I think these thought patterns, feelings, and vulnerability is what people want to hear, or what we need to hear. We don't need to hear perfect life tips. We need to hear what other people feel in order to not feel alone, because we feel lonely. We feel alone. And this isn't a good feeling. And I think if we've used social media, like Madeline Argy does, for example, or Emma Chamberlain did in some parts, that's why they blew up, in my opinion. Because they shared their thoughts, feelings, and vulnerability. And I don't think that if you post lists of how to achieve this goal, people follow you for you. They follow you for your tips. And this isn't what people... If you do you want this? Do I want this? And this is especially a big part for me while I'm doing social media, that I'm trying to figure out why I want to do social media while I'm doing it. I know that this isn't really the topic, but I think sometimes we just need to publish unfinished thoughts, or racing thoughts like I am. And just the way your brain, your speech, your communication, all of this is in its natural state. And I think people that are doing this blow up because they are themselves. Like this real unpolished version. I know that this gets harder from day to day to blow up. I don't even know if you have to blow up. Because I don't know if it's really that cool to have millions of followers, people who follow you everywhere, drag thrown into your face, especially if you have children, for example, or I don't know, family who doesn't want to be seen or whatever, or you have a relationship and people know it in a few seconds or minutes after you left your home. You know what I mean? But I think we should socialize more with each other by posting raw, unfinished thoughts just in the way you think. Because if you script everything, or if people script everything, especially if it's based on this one tiny goal you want to achieve, this isn't a conversation. This isn't something you really feed your soul with, because we crave this connection. And if you talk to a friend, you don't stay in this one topic for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You don't talk about, so I want to achieve this goal. So you have to do this. This isn't a real conversation. This isn't real social interaction. So I think if people like Madeline or Emma Chamberlain talk about certain things, we want to listen because it feels like a real conversation. And these are 20 topics in one. But I hope you understand what I wanted to say. And yeah, see you